Welcome back to the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Apple, Spotify, or Google, please leave a 5-star rating. This content is brought to you by Uphold, which makes crypto investing easy. You can buy, sell, trade, and earn crypto on Uphold. I've been using this platform since 2017. They're reputable. They've been around for a while, and they have 10 plus million users, 200 plus cryptocurrencies, and they're available in 150 countries. And as with all exchanges, you want to self-custody your own crypto. You can use the exchange to buy and sell, but remember, not your keys, not your crypto. So self-custody is the way to go. If you'd like to learn more about Uphold, please visit the link in the description. All right, my friends, I am very pissed off. I'm very angry right now. Let me share the reason why. And I think you're probably going to echo my sentiments here. Sam Bankman-Fried, the fraudster, the CEO of FTX, which stole billions of dollars from users, he just tweeted out, "I'll be speaking with Andrew Sorkin of CNBC at the Dealbook, the New York Times Dealbook Summit, next Wednesday, November 30th. Can you believe this? This man is not in jail. He's down in the Bahamas, and he's going to be speaking at a New York Times event. Talk about absurd. Talk about crazy. This is wild. And this shows he's being protected. This man should be in handcuffs and in jail. He committed fraud and once again stole billions of dollars. And it has been public. It's been proven. And there's more details coming out. Even the current interim CEO that's there who oversaw the Enron collapse and so forth. He's saying he's never seen anything like this. I'm at a loss for words here, guys. I can't believe what the hell is happening here. Let me give you the details. So this event will be once again on November 30th. And the other speakers that are going to be there are Mayor Eric Adams of New York City, the mayor of New York City, excuse me. You're going to have Mike Pence, former vice president, Benjamin Netanyahu, Janet Yellen, Secretary Janet Yellen, Mark Zuckerberg, even President Zelensky of the Ukraine. What the hell is going on? And even Larry Fink of BlackRock. Now, something to note. BlackRock was invested in FTX, and Zelensky, of course, Ukraine was using FTX to get their crypto. I think they were invested in FTX as well. So clearly, Sam Bankman-Fried is being protected, and we've been seeing a lot of media pieces, especially from the New York Times, some from the Washington Post and other mainstream media sites and publications. They are trying to paint this man as the victim, trying to take away the narrative that it shouldn't be a narrative, but the fact that he is a criminal. He committed fraud. I mean, if you and I did what Sam Bankman-Fried did, we would be hauled off to jail. Can you imagine? Put yourself in his shoes right now, right? Let's say you went and defrauded big time investors and retail consumers and so forth of billions of dollars. You think you'll be walking around free? No. But Sam Bankman-Fried, remember, he made tons of political donations. And I think that political establishment is protecting him. And it is a sad sight. It is unbelievable what's happening. If this does happen, this man is speaking at this event, whether it be in person or virtual. I've completely lost hope in the judicial system in the United States. I don't know if I'm being outlandish here. I'm like almost questioning like my own thoughts, because it's like, how is this happening? This is unreal. And it's just a sad thing. So we'll see if this actually happens, but he tweeted it out here. He tagged Andrew Sorkin of CNBC, and the New York Times are confirming it. And here's an example of them trying to paint Sam Bankman-Fried in a very positive light. Today, Dealbook, which is the summit that he'll be speaking at, they tweeted out an article literally today, says, since Sam Bankman-Fried launched the company FTX, its executives and its philanthropic arms spent or pledged hundreds of millions of dollars in political and charitable contributions, consulting fees, and investments in media outlets and real estate. I guess that's a key right there. Investments in media outlets, probably like the New York Times and the Washington Post and so forth, and whoever else. I can't believe this, guys. And I replied to that tweet saying, I think you forgot something. He committed fraud and stole billions of dollars from investors. This is unbelievable. They are protecting this man. And this is not some conspiracy theory. You see it right in front of your eyes, clear as day. What the hell is going on? And let me give you some details about the donations to politicians. So he regularly met with lawmakers in DC to pass crypto regulations. He was trying to get his bill passed and so forth. He donated over $40 million to politicians, including $5.2 million to the Biden campaign, $27,000 to Senator Stabenow, who's a Democrat, $10,000 to Senator Boozman, who's a Republican, $16,000 to Senator Gillibrand, who's a Democrat. The three politicians who backed his bill. And of course, that bill was the bipartisan bill called the Digital Commodities Consumer Protection Act, the DCCPA. Although Sam Bankman-Fried was the main contributor to the bill, Senators Debbie Stabenow and John Boozman planned to push ahead with it. Guys, this man is being protected, and probably because he was so high profile, he was meeting with these folks in DC. He was donating millions of dollars. And I think they're trying to cover their tracks here. They're trying to make it seem like it wasn't his fault, even though we've seen the communications, we've seen all the nonsense, the lying, his own tweets, deleting them. Man, this, once again, I apologize. I am pissed off. And I hope you guys are seeing this and you're probably pissed off too, because this is wild, man. I can't believe what I'm seeing here. Attorney John Deaton, he shared some sentiments. A lot of people have been sharing sentiments. Let me make this clear. If Sam Bankman-Fried isn't arrested and charged with fraud, wire fraud, theft, and possibly money laundering before and instead gets to spew out his bullshit narrative, our system of justice has been compromised. He tagged Senator Elizabeth Warren. He said, Elizabeth Warren, you claim to be for the little guy. Where are you? Absolutely. And then he tagged, some other folks got tagged in that. I'm like in shock. Like, what the fuck is going on? And excuse my French there, guys. This is unbelievable. It's simply unbelievable. And I tell you, if this man shows up at this meeting, whether it be virtual or in person, and he's not in jail, by after that, I don't know what to say. I've lost complete faith in the justice system. It's so corrupt. It's pay to play. And he paid his way, and now he doesn't have to face the consequences, right? It's rules for thee, not for me, right? Not for Sam Bankman-Fried and the elites, it looks like. Unbelievable. Now, the FTX story is just so crazy that it looks like Apple is seeking the film rights to the Bankman-Fried story. So here, Blockworks tweeted out, who thinks Jonah Hill is too old for the lead? After the FTX bankruptcy, SBF will look older than 38. And Apple is trying, they're reportedly in talks with the Big Short author Michael Lewis for rights to his forthcoming book on FTX. So, of course, there's going to be movies made. This is going to be like the Big Short 2, right? Part 2, I should say, where it involves crypto. It's not real estate and housing market. So, this makes sense, but I'm still in shock that this man, Sam Bankman-Fried, is going to be speaking at an event with the New York Times. I can't believe this. Now, Ron Hemmon of the Blockchain Association, who frequently joins the show to talk about what's happening in DC, he talks about a article that was put out here about Congress members tried to stop the SEC's inquiry into FTX. So a bipartisan group of 8 members of Congress wrote a letter in March urging the SEC to cause or cease making inquiries to crypto firms. One of the firms in question was FTX. Now, Ron Hammond gives some clarity to that because it seems this article is not entirely accurate. He said, let's level set here. In March, 4 Democrats and 4 Republicans sent a letter to SEC Chair Gary Gensler regarding the Division of Enforcement's actions with the crypto ecosystem. Representative Tom Emmer, who is a ranking member of the Oversight Committee, the subcommittee that oversees the SEC, led the letter. The letter asked Chair Gensler 13 questions, including how many questions did the SEC ask in each voluntary document request to relevant entities? Has the SEC conducted a cost-benefit analysis to determine the fairness and efficiency of its requests? In May, Chair Gensler responded to the letter. Some questions were responded to at a high level, others were not. In DC, this response, but not really a response, is pretty typical from regulators, especially if the opposite party leads the letter. The article highlights conspiracy theories of Gensler's ties to Alameda as far-fetched, but then goes to say the members of Congress were potentially aware of the investigations and were pressuring the SEC to stop, which is just as ridiculous as of a logical jump. The bipartisan hearings in December and 2023 will uncover who knew that what, if at all. The letter tries to place blame, though, on Congress ahead of these hearings, which is a fairly bold claim. So looks like Gensler has his cronies trying to write articles and pay off people to write articles to blame Congress. But Congress is not the cop on the beat, as Gary Gensler would say. Congress is not the one who's supposed to be doing that. It's Gary Gensler. And Gary Gensler met with Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX. And that's a big fact right there. And there were talks of a potential kind of free pass that was in the works for FTX from Gary Gensler. But of course, Gary turned a blind eye, probably because of all the political donations to the Democrats, and he's a Democratic, he's part of the Democratic Party. So guys, this is getting crazy, and I hope it doesn't get too political, and I hope they're able to bring justice here to this situation. Now, let's move ahead. We got some interesting news, and this one is coming from Harvard. They did a paper, and it essentially says central banks buy Bitcoin, and it talks about Bitcoin being a treasury reserve asset and how central banks can use it, talking about El Salvador and something, what El Salvador has done and their plans. And El Salvador, actually, they're going to be launching their Bitcoin or volcano bond soon. And I think that's very big news. And President Bukele, in fact, said that they're going to buy some Bitcoin here, buying the dip. So I think what I want to share here is that the narratives are forming that Bitcoin is going to be, as digital gold, potentially a central bank reserve asset, just like gold. And I think that's very bullish, guys. I think there's a high probability of that happening. I'm not saying it's guaranteed because I'm not a fortune teller, but we talk about probabilities. What's the likelihood of something happening? And I think there's a very high probability of this happening, given that we're headed to that digital token economy, right? With everything on the blockchain. I think this absolutely makes sense. And we're seeing a lot more countries warming up to Bitcoin mining. There's a lot of Bitcoin mining happening in Russia, in the United States, and a lot of big companies are holding Bitcoin now, corporates. So we're moving in that direction where central banks could hold Bitcoin. And I think something like that, if that were to happen, would be a huge catalyst, could definitely send Bitcoin to $1 million because central banks will be buying up Bitcoin, right? But we'll have to wait and see. There's no guarantees here, right? We got to keep it fair and balanced here, guys. Just because Harvard wrote this paper doesn't mean it's going to happen. But we look at the facts and the way things are shaping out in the economy and the world. And we're headed once again to that digital token economy. And speaking of that, we got news that Japan to launch a digital yen CBDC pilot in 2023. So all these central banks and countries are going to be launching their CBDCs. It's coming, guys. We see India doing it. The United States have been talking about their digital dollar. In Europe, digital euro, all that stuff, the digital pound. It's coming. So these developments in CBDCs will benefit the crypto asset class. And I know it's hard to be kind of bullish right now because the prices are down. It's a bear market. We got the FTX debacle, but it's all boom and bust cycles in markets. The Fed will eventually slow down on the rate hikes. They will start printing again. Asset prices will go up, and crypto will be included in that. It's just a matter of being patient and having the macro outlook. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think. Are you as pissed off as I am about this? I find this unbelievable, and I'm just at a point where I'm pissed off. I need to go maybe have a drink and just calm down, watch some TV, not think about this, because stuff like this really pisses me off. Anyway, let me know what you guys think, and I'll talk to you all later.